We're here with Dallin Hall right now. Dallin, thanks for coming on, man. Yeah, absolutely. We're going to start this off. We're going to break the ice immediately. We may have to cut this out. We'll find out. Rumors are I know. We get right into it. We don't mess around. We don't waste time here.
Bucket of cold water. Let's get it.
Rumors are swirling that you may have acquired the talents of our memes guy.
Really?
This guy, the name of Jack Carpenter. Does that ring a bell?
On the DMs.
Shout out Bubble Jamal. That's what we called him on the mission. He was hooping.
So we'd like you to swipe through some of these he made just for this episode for you. So they'll see him here, right here on the post edit. We'll get the live reactions. You can just swipe through here.
All right.
I don't know if you get that first one.
And Team Drake, I have to admit.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Cut that meme out.
But I still love you, Jack. Okay.
We'll post some of the other ones on here as well on the video.
Oh, that's my guy. Talented man.
Talented man. He's been our memes guy since the start of this podcast.
I did
So
leak your DMs on Twitter. I don't know if you saw that post, but because you did respond.
Could have been
If you
that.
recall.
I didn't respond?
No,
Right?
you did. You did.
Oh, yeah.
I know. He's so full of DMs. He's like, I can't remember. I was pissed.
Oh, I love you, Jack.
Shout out, Jack.
Shout out, Jack.
Shout out the big no, Fresno mission.
I love it. Anyhow, this season right now, we're recording right before March 1st. March is around the corner right now. What has been the thing that has flipped the switch in this team this season? Because it was kind of rusty. Couldn't figure out the rotations, it seemed like, for a little bit. And then it really seems like since the second half of that Colorado game, things have really flipped and you guys have figured out who you really are. What caused that flip?
Yeah, I think a huge piece of it was just continuing to stack days, not get too lost in, a couple hard losses that we had, and just focus on how we can get better. And then I think another huge piece is it's a lot of our first year playing together.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been a process figuring out, how to get guys in spots where they can be successful, and how to just put everyone in a position where we're able to maximize everyone's potential. And so I feel like we're firing on all cylinders right now, and we're starting to click. And I think we still have a lot of ways to get better, which is exciting too.
Yeah, it really seemed like it's taken some time to get things figured out. But at this point, you're playing just as well as anyone in the conference, obviously having some incredible wins. One of the things that started, like we're talking about, that turning point was figuring out rotations and kind of, Coach Young embracing just playing 11 guys, which is honestly unheard of in college basketball. Even down to the high school level, you kind of have a core that you go to, but there's just so much talent on this roster and so many guys that he goes to throughout the game. In the last 5 games, 11 guys getting minutes. How's that been for you from your perspective, playing with 10 other guys every single game, feeding off of each other's energy and play styles in any given moment?
Yeah, I think as a point guard, you feel responsibility to kind of figure out, like I was saying, all the different guys and what their strengths are and how to best put them in a position to be successful. So that's been fun trying to learn that. Obviously, everyone wants to play more, and that's a part of basketball. But what we're about on this team is winning. And so we've really just bought into, all right, when I'm on the floor, how can I maximize what I bring to the table to help our team? And when I'm off the floor, how can I be the best teammate possible? And so I think that's been a huge flip for us. Guys have really bought in, and I think we're starting to see the fruits of that out on the court.
With that, with the big rotation and everything, how do you stay in rhythm in a game like that? Because I know we've played much lower level basketball. We're church ball guys.
It's high level right there.
Yeah, that's the highest level. That's the celestial level, as I like to call it. But, when you're coming in and out, when you're playing, how hard is it to keep that rhythm, and how have you guys been able to maintain that? Because, there's been times where you've played only 10, 15 minutes a game or 30 minutes. How do you stay in rhythm in a game like that?
I think part of it is just staying ready, and the biggest piece is just a mindset.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I talked about this early on an earlier interview, is like I went from, playing more minutes around that 30 minutes a mark last year in Big 12 play to a little bit less this year. So last year I had a little bit more time to let the game come to me and figure things out through the flow of it. But this year it's pushed me to just, as soon as I step on the floor, be assertive and aggressive. Mm-hmm. And I think that's a really good thing for me as a player. And a lot of our guys, we're just all in that same boat. Just as soon as we get on the floor, we're hunting for shots and we're hunting to make plays for our teammates.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of church ball, because that's the name of our podcast, church ball. What's your best church ball story? You got one? We ask everyone this question.
You want to hear one first to give you an example that we had from an earlier interview? So Jonathan Tavernari, I'm sure you're familiar. Yep. Okay. Everybody is. He was telling a story about how he got into a fight and beat the crap out of a dude. And, so that's an example. That's what you're, having to live up
like every
to.
Tuesday night at the steak center.
Yeah. No. I got two that come to mind. So I was a deacon. I got asked to play up with my older brother, the priest. I felt like a champ. And my older brother just started getting into it with the ref and this dude. And then there was a brawl and it was a mess. And I was kind of embarrassed. But shout out my big bro for always looking out for me. He always invited me to play pickup. So that's one thing I always remember. And then another is my next door neighbor. He's a soccer guy. Just smoked a wide open layup like an entire game. Like just smoked it. And then he just the glass doors were right behind to the outside, so he missed it and he just walked out and left. And so we're all like, what? Like mid-game. So those are kind of two that jump out at me from church ball.
There's nothing quite like it. And I was reading a story about you, written by one of our actually teachers, Jeff Call. You probably don't, is forever ago when you first came to BYU. But you talked about playing on your mission and staying ready
right
or hoops, and it just made me think of church ball, probably that. But missionary ball is a little bit different than church ball, right?
Yeah, missionary ball is even scarier.
Why is that?
I don't know. You just got a lot of guys trying to prove it,
Yeah, a lot of egos on the court.
Yeah, a lot of egos, and it's your one time to take out your energy. So I was blessed though on my mission. We had some hoopers, like I was telling y'all, Jack. We called him Bubble Jamal.
Shout out Jack.
Yeah, shout out Jack. We had some other guys that could really put the ball in the basket. So that made it fun. Like every Monday, it was kind of like a NBA playoffs mentality.
Going back to this season, we're recording this on Friday, February 28th before the West Virginia game. This will be out probably Sunday night, Monday morning. Next week, you guys get a chance to play against Utah again. How ready are you for that game? How bad do you want it?
Super excited. Want it super bad. But at the same time, we understand that West Virginia is the most important thing in front of us. And that's where all of our energy and focus is. They're a really talented team. They got a guy, Javon Small, who can really put it in the basket. So all of our energy's there. And then we'll just take it game by game. But yeah, really excited for that.
Yeah, that's a great answer. That's a real Tyson would be proud of that one. No, for real, it is good. But talking about West Virginia, what are you guys, without giving up any sort of game plan or anything, what are some things you're working on right now as a team?
Yeah, obviously they run most of their offense through Javon Small, so we're scheming on that, figuring ways to slow him down and shrink the floor. And then we want to get out and run. We're at home. We got the crowd with us. We got the altitude, all those factors, and we have our shooting. So we want to get out, play a fast game, not allow their defense to get set, and then attack that pressure.
I want to talk about real quick playing at home versus the road. You guys had a shaky start playing road games. It just seems like that's where all the losses came. And granted, they were by 4 or 3 points early on in the season. But home is where you guys suddenly seem to feel comfortable, seem to be able to figure it out. But recently, you guys have really figured out what's going on the road and been able to win this tight games in those tough moments. What's changed? What you guys been learning?
I think a huge piece of it is us bringing our own energy on the road. Like we've learned when teams make runs or even when we make runs, like we have to bring our own energy as a bench, as on the floor, like for our teammates, because, it's infectious. That's why I think teams win at home. They have so much energy pushing them forward. And so that's something we've tried to do on the road is just max, the energy that we have. And I think we're seeing it pay off.
What would you attribute this 6-game win streak to? Or 5-6 game win streak?
Yeah, somewhere along there.
Yeah.
I would say that it's just been everyone's playing for each other.
Mm-hmm.
We're having a lot of great assists as a team. Guys are really shooting the ball well. Trevin and Richie, flamethrowers. And we're just moving on quickly from mistakes. Like when teams make runs or maybe things aren't going our way, we're not getting stuck on that.
Mm-hmm.
And we're just finding different ways to overcome that and win. So a little bit of mental, some good shooting, and then just our focus on the game plan.
What flipped into a guy like Richie Saunders? Last season he's more of a glue guy, energizer bunny, and now he is automatic. He's the guy.
Yeah, no, Richie is he's a flamethrower. He's always had it in him, and he's a gunslinger. Like, he always is ready to shoot it, ready to attack closeouts, and super fun as a point guard to play with. And so I think he's just been given a larger role. Coach Young has really found a way to open his game, and he's been working super hard in the offseason to find ways to get better. And so all those factors kind of combine together to be a perfect storm for him to come out and just have a great season. And he's going to keep getting better.
You want to go back to what you were saying there about like bringing your own energy and being able to respond, especially on the road here. This Arizona trip was the most impressive to me about those 2 games. Obviously, Arizona game was crazy. You know, guys went 96-95, just an insane amount of points because every big shot that they made was matched by you guys, right? And then in Arizona State, they just couldn't get back in the game because you guys kept hitting big shots. And one of my favorite shots, like this entire team has in the bag, we affectionately call it the FU Dallin Hall 3, where it was made famous when you did it at Kansas, right? But you've been doing it for years, being on this team and probably well beyond that. But I know you like that shot, the little step back in their eye. Tell me about it. Tell me about how you developed it and why you like taking it so much.
Yeah, I feel like I've always had a lot of rhythm shooting the ball off the bounce. Steph Curry is my favorite player, so I grew up just watching his highlights like I'm in class underneath the desk table, just highlight reel after highlight reel. So I feel a lot of rhythm. I love playing off the bounce, and in those moments where the crowd's really getting loud or maybe momentum is swinging their way, I just love to be present in the moment and look for those opportunities to hunt for a shot or hunt for a play where I'm getting downhill and creating for my teammates. So, like I said, it's a mindset that I'm being forced to adopt the whole game, which I think is good for my game. But especially in those big moments, I'm always looking for opportunities to make a big play for our team to help us win.
It's lethal, dude. And not a lot of dudes like shoot off the dribble in college, like you're saying.
Right,
So
right.
it's a big credit to you.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's go to Steph Curry real quick. You were telling us before the podcast you've been a Warriors fan since 2012. You flipped.
Convenient timing, by the way.
Convenient timing. That's well, we talked about this on our last podcast where you can flip from you. He was saying you can flip at 14. I think that's crazy because I think at that point you
got to decide at 14th birthday you pick your team. Is that too late?
I'm trying to think when 2012 was. So
that's late.
I'm wrong here. What was I? 11?
Yeah. Well, you're way before that.
Yeah, you're chilling. That's all right. 11. I think 11's okay.
I would say probably 11's the age.
Nice. Yeah. All right. Talking about Steph Curry, though, I mean, this is getting off topic, but I thought I should bring it up. I love Steph Curry. I think he's the most entertaining basketball player I've ever seen in my life. I think he's the most underrated superstar in an era of me kind of basketball. Where do you rank Steph Curry all time? Obviously, he's your favorite player and bias, but where does he rank in that, with the Jordans and the LeBrons of the world?
Yeah, I think he's maybe like top 5. Yeah, I'd put him in my top 5. I'd say he's the best point guard of all time. Shout out Magic. I love Magic Johnson and a lot of those other point guards. But I just think how he's revolutionized the game, the kind of teammate he is. Like, you see guys that come to Golden State, their game just gets better. Like KD, even Jimmy Butler right now, which Steph just had 56. So that's sick.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, he's just a team guy. Like, he's just about winning. And he was underrated, which I love. I wasn't like this highly touted recruit coming out of high school, ESPN 100 or anything like that. So that underdog mindset, I just love all of it. And love his game. I do think he's the most entertaining player to watch. And I think he inspires this generation, maybe too much.
Well, in Utah, that's Jimmer's fault.
Right. But he's changed the game for sure. And always look up to him in his game.
Yeah, I was watching a Netflix series, Court of Gold. I don't know if you've seen it, but it's about that Olympic run, just what he did to France. 2 minutes. I was just chuckling on my couch. Other than Steph, is there anyone else you've modeled your game out after? Any other highlights you're watching on the desk during class?
I didn't watch Steve Nash a ton, but I do.
Oh yeah, now you're speaking my language.
Yeah. Just like creating for my teammates in the pick and roll, especially. And this year I haven't had quite as much pick and roll opportunity, but I love playing in the pick and roll, making reads, punishing defenses. So I really like Steve Nash a lot, and what people don't understand is like he could put the ball in the basket too. So
He was almost too unselfish. If he played in this era, he would have been shooting 23s a game.
yeah, no, he was a underrated shooter as well.
You said you like playing in the pick and roll a lot. How have you been able to gel with guys like Kaba? And then you've been with Foose for so long now. I'm sure that's been easy, but how fun is it being able to have Kaba in there as a lob threat on the pick and roll? Because you haven't necessarily had that option.
Yeah, no, we had a TP last year who could really jump. Kaba is just one of the most athletic players I've ever played with, if not the most. And so what people don't understand is how difficult it is to go up and pinpoint the air while guards are trying to hit you down low, or bigs are trying to get and tip the basketball out. And so like just his ability to go up there and get it and finish is incredible. And it's been super fun. Like him and Foose are a great 1-2 punch.
Mm-hmm.
In the fact of Foose is like super physical, crazy strong, unstoppable in the post. And me and him obviously have a really good connection just with our years of playing. And then Kava comes into the game, and it's like you can't let him roll behind the defense or it's just a lob. And now you got shooters, so it's like you got to pick your poison. So super fun, super dynamic, and it's been fun getting to play with him.
Yeah.
Yeah, something I've really noticed about your game this year is your patience with the ball, especially coming off that pick, right? Getting the guy on your back and finding the right play every time. And I guess I'm just asking, what have you been working on this season? What are some things that you've been developing? You've been here, this is your third season now, and just getting better every year.
Right. Yeah. No, this offseason, really been working on, like you were saying, pick and roll reads, just because as a point guard, that's what you got to do. And if you want to play at the next level, that's really what they're looking at. Getting better as a defender. I'm not labeled as the most athletic person on the floor, so I really got to put a stamp on the defensive end and show that I can guard 1 through 4. And then free throws, right? That was something coming into this year, dialing it in on that. And as a team, we got to get a little bit better there. So those are kind of the main things been working on.
What's it like playing for Kevin Young day to day? What's practice like? What's it like being in the building around this coaching staff?
Yeah, they make it fun. I'll say that. We got a staff that has really good positive energy. So they make coming into work super exciting. And they're also crazy knowledgeable about the game. I think our staff is one of the most well put together staffs in the country, if not the most. So there's so much opportunity to learn, which as a basketball savant, like all of us, we're just trying to soak it all up and learn as much as we can. And Coach Young, he's a relationships guy. Like he shoots you straight, kind of says it how it is. He's a positive guy, and he brings it to work every day, and he takes accountability. Like if we lose, it's not like, oh, you guys got to do this, that. He's like, yo, I'm looking at what I need to do better. I'm looking at what we all need to do better. So I just appreciate those things about his character a lot, and I think it makes him who he is, and it's why a lot of people want to follow him.
When you were in the transfer portal and you're getting re-recruited again, essentially, was that something that really spoke to you? Was, hey, this is just someone who's super upfront and you can see he's a high character guy?
Yeah, no, that was a huge piece of staying. Obviously, I have goals and dreams to play in the NBA, and so going through that decision process felt like at the time that was the best decision. And I've just been trying to learn from him as much as I can.
Yeah, well, down like Carter was saying earlier, it's almost March, and it means different things for us than it does you. For us, it means sitting on the couch 10 hours a day, eating our weight in fast food. For you, it means some of the biggest basketball games of your life. How excited are you?
I'm stoked, man. It's kind of similar lines of that Utah game. Like I've been waiting all year to get back to that tournament, but can't get lost in that. So we have goals as a team, and they're big and ambitious, but ultimately what it comes down to is a week by week approach, the next team in front of us, and all you can do is live in the moment, and that's what we're doing.
How special can this team be? Where do you guys see yourself going, in the next month or so?
Yeah, I think we're putting ourselves in a great position for the Big 12 tournament. We're excited for that. We want to go compete for a championship there, and then we want to make a big run in the tournament. So, like I said, we're just taking it week by week. We had goals that we set at the beginning of the year that we hold within our team and we're working towards, but At the end of the day, it's just West Virginia, right? That's the next team, and that's the most important.
One thing I wanted to ask Dallin before we kind of wrap up, this is totally changing the topic, but I don't know if you are paying attention. High school hoops just wrapping up. I think 6A state champ last night.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
5A to tonight, actually.
Is it?
Yeah. So, there's been this kind of shift in basketball culture around the world, especially in Utah, right? Of, foregoing high school hoops, playing at prep academies, AAU teams, stuff like that. I'm not saying like which one's right, which one's wrong. You opted to stay. I'm sure you had offers to do whatever else, go to some prep academies or whatnot. But what's that been like, or what did that do for you in your game, sticking around at high school and winning a state title your senior year?
Yeah, that was special. That's an experience I'll never forget. Just playing for my hometown, people, a community that raised me, and with my best friends, like growing up. So that's something I'll never trade. Like, shout out my O-Town boys. Been with them since like 4th grade, a lot of them, which is crazy to think about. And now they still come out to all my games and support me. And so just something I'll never forget. And there's something special about playing for your hometown. And obviously, I think like those guys who take that opportunity to go play prep, smart move. But if you can find a way to make it work for your hometown, I think that's awesome.
I love that.
I love it. I've got 2 more questions. These are very off topic. Our guy Justin Young, he texts us all the time. He'll send me pictures. I guess you guys had wings while you were in Arizona or something. Sends me a picture. His like hardcore take is that wings are the most overrated food.
Really?
Agree or disagree?
Core take.
He also has some other ones, but we won't bring those on air.
I like wings. So, sorry, JY.
You a bone in or bone out guy?
I'm actually a bone out.
Mm.
That's kind of a hot take.
Mm.
But
That is hot.
just easier to eat.
Don't like that. I mean, if you're out with your lady, you get boneless. You don't want to get your face. But if you're out with the fellas, you get bone
You
in.
gotta prove your manlyhood, man.
I mean, it depends on what day it is at Buffalo Wild Wings, man.
That's right. Thursdays, kid.
There you go. My other question is, I don't know how much of a college basketball fan you were growing up, if you're NBA, whatever, but do you have a favorite March Madness memory you look back on, or like when you're on YouTube, you're like, let's look up some March Madness clips?
I'm trying to think. I mean, I think obviously Jimmer sticks out. I wasn't a diehard BYU fan growing up. Obviously seeing what he did and just kind of shots he shot. Like, that's a guy full of confidence with the ultra green light.
The ultra green light.
He's a good dude. Like, he's reached out and tried to mentor me. So, yeah, that's something that jumps out. I personally was more of an NBA guy growing up. Like, just have always been infatuated with it. And since I've been in college, I've gained a better appreciation for it.
Mm-hmm.
Especially from guys like Trevin Nell, who have been in college for so long. A long time. But Jimmer, yeah, and what he did for BYU, kind of putting it on the map, I think that was special.
I love it.
As Trevor Nell walks behind camera, we get that comment. I did read you grew up kind of a Duke fan.
Yeah.
Now you're speaking my language.
If I got this straight down, it's you Duke fan, then a Warriors fan. Not a great track record.
Dude,
You big Chiefs fan too, or?
I'm actually a Dolphins fan.
Okay, well then never mind.
Tyreek, stick around, please. No, yeah, Duke fan growing up. I don't know why that was. I think like I just had this aspiration. I wanted to go to Duke as a kid, and then, like I said, I just didn't watch a ton of college hoops once I got to like middle school. It was all NBA, so maybe that was the Steph Curry effect. I don't know.
You're speaking my language. Grew up a diehard Duke fan in North Carolina, so I love Duke. I was at the 22 Final Four. Caleb Love, this guy, I mean, he owns me. So yeah. I mean, I go to sleep and my wife's like, "What's wrong?" It's like, Caleb Love again. But anyhow,
one for you, Carter.
Yeah, we got that.
Yeah. Hey, appreciate that one, man. Needed that big time. But anyhow, all right, man. Thank you for coming on. Best of luck in March Madness and the rest of the season. And anything else, Chase?
No, just appreciate it, dude. Excited to see your development, and obviously we've seen a lot already. And this team's special, man. You guys are going to do something great. The last 3 games, and then postseason, man, it's the funnest time of the year. So we can't wait.
That's the truth, man. Appreciate you guys. Appreciate Cougar Nation. Let's show up for these last